Cue the fog.
The story of German prisoners of war in America has a lot of historical fact in the Second World War prison camps that were located around the Southeast. There were 450,000 German prisoners of war in America during World War II, and most people know nothing about it. We had 40 camps in Georgia, about 11,000 prisoners in the state from the period of 1942 to 1947. When I first thought about the story, and I thought about this story because I heard about an incident that did happen in a train station in Georgia. I took the incident and fictionalized it. None of the characters are real people in My Christmas Soldier, but all the things that happened in the story happened somewhere. And I loved the Christmas coming together aspect of when you think someone's an enemy, when you think someone is dangerous and there's a prejudice involved, that sometimes when you really get on common ground, your attitude changes. And I read interviews of local Georgians who met German prisoners of war, and that's exactly what happened to them in every case. They realized these are men who have families that they don't know what's happening to, that are a long way from home, that are really suffering in the same way our soldiers would be suffering from homesickness, and it was very touching to think about that.
I had always found that time period a very, very intriguing period because it was so intense, and it really turned the entire world upside down. I mean, there's other wars and other conflicts, but they were localized. I mean, some of them are far away on a continent, and yes, they have their part in the history book, and people talk about it, but they do it somewhat removed, they do it somewhat distant, unless they were involved in it. But World War II was the most intense global conflict that has ever come over this planet and involved pretty much every continent, literally every continent. There was no continent that nobody was involved with the war. So, I mean, they came from Australia, they came from Africa, they came from North America, they came from South America, from Europe, from Asia, from everywhere. Scandinavia, they were all involved. It was never before seen conflict of interests, a clash of arms, clash of ideologies, extreme heroism, extreme evilness. I mean, it brought out the most incredible good in people, and it brought out the most intense depth of the human soul. So how can you not be fascinated by this? You know, I mean, you don't have to, say, oh, well, those were bad guys and those are good guys, and it's just the way it is, because those lines overlapped quite a bit. I mean, leading, was of course the Holocaust, which was a terrible thing committed, and nobody not know about it, and you should keep that in mind and send prayers for everybody that suffered under this. But at the same time, you also think, well, okay, yeah, there was a part of the German forces that committed terrible atrocities. But there was also a large part that just thought they fought for their fatherland, they fought for their country, they fought for their family, for their children, and they had only one wish: get this over with alive, come home and reunite with my family. That was their sole purpose. And the more the war dragged on, the bigger that wish became towards we're gonna be victorious. Because then they said, this is bad. This is really bad. The more this drags on, the more they realize this is not good. And they wanted to be home, and they wanted to save what was savable. So, yeah, I mean, this gave me the opportunity to help portraying the German soldier in a light that he is rarely depicted.